E296. My name is Jack Purdy. I'm the editor-in-chief here from the Rumble Seat. With me is Jake Grant, who has been from the Rumble Seat for longer than literally everyone at the site right now, I want to say. I think that's accurate, considering Ben technically is emeritus at this point and not active.
Well, I could put this on Front Street. Ben, Joey, and Cade were in charge when I came on staff. Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. I don't write too much these days, but I brought
I can
Akshay along.
I can
And I
count.
think we
I can,
brought you along. So
That's true. I mean, I can count. You've written, I think, once in the last calendar year, but that's okay. We got all the podcasting that I think that we've done at least upwards of 40 episodes this year. So I think we've done good work.
our goal is what? To talk when there's something to talk about and keep ourselves honest about it. And for the good people here, I think I don't know. They probably know exactly what we're going to talk about this week, Jack.
I,
If I
I
had to guess.
I haven't written the title for the episode yet, but the word pop and tart are going to be in it somewhere. Uh, that
Hmm.
that's for sure. And that's what we're going to talk about today. That's the Pop-Tarts Bowl. And then we'll get into some of the two basketball games that happened as well. But honestly, not a lot to talk about there, considering they were against very not amazing teams, and we took care of business. But yes, the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Tech played the number 22 Yellow Jackets played number 12 BYU in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. That was last Saturday, so 2 days ago as of recording. Tech lost 25-21 in a real heartbreaker. Uh, they end their season at 9-4, which the real heartbreaker there is they couldn't get their first 10-win season since 2014, which we really would have looked forward to, I think, almost more than anything. Couldn't get a final win for Haynes King and the rest of the seniors, which being in the stadium, we felt that. Um, but overall, it was a very fun experience, which we'll get into the details of in a second here.
You know, I was talking with my brother about this because I was at home. And I was like, dang, there's two things that I'm most bummed about this game. But one is the Georgia Tech feels like Georgia Tech should rightfully own a toaster trophy.
Yes.
And 10 wins just spiritually, emotionally, it mathematically feels nice. I get it. Nine has some nice multiples in there, 3, 1, and 9. But a nice round 10, a multiple of 5 works for my math brain, Jack. I am sad to miss out on that. But this is going to be some interesting perspective, or just kind of between how the two of us consume this game, because
Yeah.
I'd say for having both of us watched, listened, tuned in to actually the whole game, right?
Yeah.
But into very different settings. And we were talking about this before we hit record. Jack, I walk away from this game in kind of like well, that was fun. I really hoped we win. Not the most, I don't want to say broken up by it, but like
Right.
I don't know. It felt like a very football game, and it's now the season's over. I'm sad Haynes and seniors didn't leave with a
Mhm.
win, but like, and maybe this is just also, I'm now hedging my hedging. Maybe this is part of me trying to like maintain a nice balanced relationship with sports, right? I
That's fair.
sometimes
No.
it's easier than others, right? But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
No, I think it is a very much
Like,
a causality of how you ingested this game. So full disclosure, I work at the Georgia Tech Alumni Association, and so I got to fly down there with for work. And that's how I got down there because we had a big old party, and I worked that party before the night before and the day of the game, and so I was engrossed in this experience at over 24 hours before kickoff. Like at early Friday morning, I'm like, I gotta set the alarm. Like I am thinking of like, Thursday night, I am thinking about this. Like Christmas night, I'm like, okay, I am done with Christmas. I had fun with my family. See ya. I am focusing on this game and this weekend because in my head, I already know like, hey, the Pop Tarts Bowl is already one of the more fun. Like it's the most fun bowl. Like they've got that on lock in terms of lack of consequence for the national championship. You don't have to worry about any of that. It's just you get to go there, you get to play fun football and have a fun time around a football game. Which what more could you ask for? Um,
well, and the fun part is definitely there. Like,
yeah, and I'll get into a lot of that. Yeah,
normal, normie, non-Georgia Tech, non-super into college football people are like, oh yeah, you guys are in the
it's
Pop-Tarts Bowl.
yeah,
Like, that's
yeah,
so cool.
yeah.
Like,
No, I
that's
mean we
cool.
we mentioned this when we found out we got this bowl. It was like this is best case scenario. Like there is no better location we could have ended up in terms of quality of raw football game. Like playing against a team that, for my money, should have been in the college football playoff. Uh, and then location, warm, and title sponsor, and like all of it worked out. It's like I mean I get there Friday morning. I'm staying at the team's hotel, which is where a lot of Tech fans were staying as well, and the team itself was staying. And so like I get there and I'm surrounded by Tech people immediately. Like I was never not surrounded by either people that I work with at the alumni association, people from the team. You see players just walking around everywhere all the time because there's like 100 of them anyways. And then the families are around. There's some donors around, of course, that flew down to get to stay in the hotel. Got to hang out with Andy Demetra for a couple minutes at one point. Like it's a really good. It was just a really good environment. The band came down there. They did a little pep rally the night before the game where they brought the rec out. Band cheerleaders did their whole shebang. They try to do like they try to do a version of the radio show that Brent Key does where they had Alpert talk for a little bit. They had some other guy talk for a little bit. They had Brent talk for a little bit. But the problem was in this hotel, we were at the Rosen Shingle Creek. If anyone's familiar with that, it's right next to Universal Orlando. Like you could in theory walk to Universal if you wanted to take a really long walk. Um, but this hotel was so massive. But the whole like the restaurant that they did this radio show thing in, there were so many people crammed into it that the ambient noise of just that many people drowned out all of the microphones that Andy Demetra and Brent Key and Ryan Alpert were using to talk. So we were just kind of just standing there in the middle of this crowd and just waiting for people to start clapping when they said something that required people to clap. Uh, that's how busy it got at this truly massive hotel. So I mean, just from the get go, vibes were really good on Friday, which I think is what set up for me, especially just how heartbreaking it was come the end of Saturday, where
Hmm.
there was a lot of I mean, it was a lot of pomp and circumstance and a lot of just thing after thing after thing that's about the game and about the experience that just led you to be like, okay, we want to win this game. Like we want to be the ones at the end of the game eating that massive Pop-Tart and bringing the literal machine trophy back home, toaster trophy back home. Um, so that was I think that so yeah, versus you where you're sitting at your couch and or you're sitting at home in Illinois land, like yeah, I completely agree that yeah, we're gonna have very different experiences and take so much different of an emotional aspect of it just because like you were opening Christmas presents the day before or 2 days before and probably just hanging out, I'm guessing, and then well, voila, it was game time versus me where it's like nope, it was game time for me Thursday night.
I I did the bowl extravaganza for the Quick Lane Bowl 2 days after Christmas,
Yeah.
and I think that's kind of what made me go. As much as I want to go this year, I've done it. We've done the move the
I
mountain to
I will
get down there.
say
I'm glad it was fun though.
yeah,
Probably
I
more
think
fun than Detroit, regardless. A
uh
ranked on ranked matchup, sunny
yes.
Orlando, vacation destination.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. All that is absolutely the case. Um, excuse me. Let me get into some of the beats of this actual football game that I'll talk. So we'll cover the football first, and then I'll get into we'll talk about this whole experience because there's a lot here. There's a lot for to talk about in terms of like the 2 days I had down in Orlando. So the main beats of this game. I'm not going to go into too many details. It's the final game. We don't need to go drive by drive because there's no other. Who knows who from this team's even going to exist on this team next year? So I don't want to go too deep into what this means for coming up later. But ultimately, we had a 21-10 lead at halftime, which is the main gist of it. We were down. We were down We were down. What was it? 7-0. BYU got the first score. Trey Maddox got a trick play, fake field goal to run in to make it 7-7 in the first quarter. BYU gets a field goal to make it 10-7. And then Eric Rivers, middle of the second quarter, gets a 5-yard touchdown and an out route. Celebrates with the Pop-Tart mascots. It's a great time. And then on the ensuing kickoff, BYU fumbles the kickoff, and we recover it at the 6-yard line. Will Kiker recovers the fumble, and so it's our ball immediately again. Not even 10 seconds after Eric Rivers' score, and JT Byrne gets a 6-yard touchdown. So it went from a 10-7 BYU lead to a 21-10 Georgia Tech lead in a matter of seconds, really. And so we held that lead going into halftime. Oh, I forgot to mention, Jake, we won the coin toss.
I did catch that part. I
We
was like,
won the
oh,
coin toss
that's weird.
in Georgia Tech's 12 games versus FBS opponents. That was the only coin toss we won. In
And
13
and
coin tosses, the only other one we won was against Gardner Webb.
Jack, you want to know how I like? I'm not going to say it means absolutely nothing whether you win or lose the coin toss,
Mm-hmm.
but we have been in what you're getting to in our shot
Mm-hmm.
sheet here on
Mm-hmm.
game beats here. We have been in the potential double possession scenario a couple of times this year,
Yeah.
coin toss or not.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna couch this. I've been very zen. I've been very zen about the result of the game,
Yes.
but atrocious
That's
clock
it really was.
management
Hmm.
going into the half and going in the final 2 minutes.
Yep. Yep.
Jack, it's been 3.5 years. We're at the end of Brent Key chapter
Hmm.
one, if you will. You got to go
Yep.
find a new
Yep.
quarterback.
I
You
think
got
so.
to
Yeah.
go find a new OC, and you have to find somebody, if you can't do it yourself, that tells you how to actually use the clock well, because
Yep.
it is like it's something we've been saying for years. It's something that people pick up on. I don't know how it's not a bigger story, but as much as anything, that's what I seize on, maybe more than anything.
Yep.
A
Yep.
field goal gets blocked, a field goal gets blocked. You're playing with some different personnel and this, that, and the other thing. But like the
Yeah.
controllables that you can control are how you use timeouts, how you scheme to
Hmm.
get out of bounds instead of being inbounds, how you're going to, you got a fresh set of downs and you're taking 4 shots at the end zone from 20 yards out. Like these, and again, I'm getting ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah.
Jack, going into the half, that is kind of when I went like, whatever, c'est la vie, right?
Yep.
Whatever will, que sera, sera. What will be, right? That's what I was looking for. We could have done more. We
Oh,
really could have done
absolutely.
more. And if you don't score on that, and then you take a whole third quarter where you're not really doing
Much of anything.
much of anything,
Well, we're doing some stuff. We were just not finishing drives there. More importantly, no, yeah. I mean, so this rattled in my head was that like, oh, wait a second, because we have lost so many coin tosses, we have barely been in this situation the entire. We've been having to defend this most of the year, where we've been like, okay, we've got points, but like, oh no, we've got to do a double possession on the defensive side of the ball. Like we have to face that over and over and over again because of the coin, literally because of the coin toss. Like that comes down to the coin toss, and not fully, but like if you win two or three more of them, odds are okay. Yeah, it won't be. You won't have. You'll at least get in the ball for a second half, and that changes how you can think about the end of halves a little bit.
no, you're a professional football coach. You scheme for the absurd end of end of game drives, all this, that, and the other thing. You should know how to
Oh no,
get
no, no. I'm not saying. No,
a
I'm not.
point out
I'm
of two
no. I'm not. I'm
possessions
not saying
around
that's
the
the.
half.
I'm saying we haven't had
Yeah.
the deep. I'm saying we haven't had to. We haven't had this side of the ball. Is what I'm saying. Like we haven't had the offensive side of this so infrequently this year because we're not winning coin tosses. Like
But
we
you
have
should
not.
still know how to coach to that. That's that.
I'm not talking about
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the coaching here. I'm just talking about the pure matter of fact. This is not a situation we have found ourselves in much this year because we have not won coin tosses. Is that we have not had the chance for us to have a double possession with the football because we don't have the ball for second half most of the time this year. This is the one time it's like, oh crap, against a real good team, we have a real shot to put a dent in it. And yes, as you said, incredibly terrible clock management across the board. First half, a little bit better than second half. They at least get a couple third down conversions. They get 3 third down conversions in their final drive of the first half, but it still comes down to a Hail Mary. And we get it to the end zone, falls incomplete. And then, yeah, our sixth drive, open up the third quarter. Uh, we get a first down across midfield. We get a late hit flag that helps us out. Malachi Hosley, who looked really good in this game, may I say, gets an important first down on this. And then on third and goal from the 11, like we get first and goal, take the 9. We do nothing on 2 plays in a row, and then we throw a mid screen to Jordan Allen. Haynes King, and this is not his only bad throw. I will say this happened, not his only high throw that happened today or in this game. He hits Jordan Allen, but he throws it way too high for a screen pass. As he's coming down, the BYU player kicks the ball out of his hands after he completed the catch. Ball fumbles away. BYU recovers. We get lucky as hell because Rodney Shelley intercepts the ball in the end zone on the next play. And this is where we get into controllables again. Rodney Shelley, who has the ball near the edge of the end zone on the sideline side, decides to run it out instead of taking a knee. And because he runs the ball out, we get the ball at the 2 yard line instead of the 20 yard line. So we lose 18 yards just on what I will call a boneheaded decision. There's no reason to ever return an interception when you're basically at the edge of the end zone. No point in
Hmm.
doing that. That wasn't good. Our next drive, we were looking actually pretty good. Like we were getting completions, we were getting first down runs. Like it was looking really good. Uh, couldn't do anything again in Burr's field goal range. That one gets blocked though. Our and that's like the one that like that's the real backbreaker of all these problems that happens here is because it's like if you get that field goal, you got it 24-10, and that's a full 2 touchdown lead. and BYU would have to go for two at some point, uh, to take the lead if they wanted to. BYU scores on the next drive. They go for two. They get it to make it 21-18 to make it only a field goal game. Punts go around. We look terrible. They look terrible. And then on their BYU's last drive, they score. Kind of just ran all over us. Had soft coverage, and then we're left with 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes to go. Harrison Moore has a horrible snap on second down, and King has to just fall on the ball. We lose 5 yards. We had all of our timeouts here. We did not use any of our timeouts here. We just let the clock run from like a minute 40 down to a minute 10 ish, somewhere in that range. Like, just, we are on the wrong side of the field. We have to get like, it's 25-21. We have to score a touchdown. Field goals do nothing. And and then 3rd and 15, Eric Rivers gets a completion, except it's illegal touching, which is the second time he was called for illegal touching in this game. So that was insane. There was also two illegal snap penalties earlier in the game by Harrison Moore. So we had two illegal touchings and two illegal snaps, which I don't have the numbers on the last time that happened, but probably a long time ago. And then somehow on 4th and 15, King hits Eric Rivers for 66 yards. Like, absolute desperation heave, but had Rivers went on man, and he got loose and made the completion, which, thank God, we were losing it in the press box when this happened. Like, we were befuddled that they pulled off this play. And then they had real time. Here's what gets even more befuddling to your clock management part. They use the timeout, great. They only have like 18 yards to go to get in the end zone. Like, you have time to run. You can literally run the ball here. Like, you do not have to pass the ball every play here, and you can get a first down and still put yourself in a chunk yardage and set up yourself a play to do something weird or funky or whatever. And they just throw 4 pass plays that all do nothing and throws an interception on the final play of the game. And that's the bummer, is that Haynes King, in such a moment to be the hero that he has been time and time again for us, in just terms of like just bringing hope and getting big drives. He hasn't been perfect in this situation throughout his career, of course. Like, this hasn't been perfect for him, but still, it's like he had the chance to have the moment. He got the one play to set himself up, and just, it was just horrid. It was horrid at the end here, and I mean, I will not remember Haynes King by this drive. Absolutely not. I will not remember the staff by this drive. But it was such seeing that was such a gut punch ending to what had been such a fun day across the board and such a fun weekend. And so there we are. It was our first loss after leading in the fourth quarter all year, which was interesting to me. Like, that was the only fourth quarter collapse, so to say, we had all year.
Yeah. I was watching with some folks, and the of the stuff you just ran down, the thing that got the most reaction from the just ball watcher types were like, why did he even run it out of the end zone? Did he get shoved out of the end zone? Did BYU know to do that? Like, that,
Yeah.
you'd think it'd be such an obvious play. And Jack, this might have been before your time, but it reminded me of the Georgia Tech against Clemson, my freshman year of college, so 2016.
Okay.
Tech gets an interception in the end zone, runs it out. I believe it then gets fumbled back into the end zone, resulting in a safety
Oh
for
my.
Clemson. 2 points to Clemson. You got the
Yeah.
student section who doesn't
Yeah.
quite realize what just happened, going nuts, like,
Mhm.
yeah. And then, like, it's like, oh, oops. But
Yep.
it
Yep.
felt it felt spiritually akin to that.
Yep. That makes sense.
Um, I I don't know, Jack. The I try not to write too much into the blocked field goal. I thought that drive ate a decent amount, even though, like, obviously by football math it was quite significant,
Mhm. Yeah.
in how you play that last drive too. But I think out of all of this, obviously illegal snaps, touching, on the first drive,
Hmm.
Patterson not being an eligible receiver on what would have been a darling of a play. It's
Yep.
it's a game Georgia Tech could have won. It's a game.
Absolutely. Yep.
I'm not going to say Georgia Tech should have won by the stats, by the
We
by
were
the
3.5 point
inputs,
underdogs. Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
the better team on paper, if you will, ostensibly won, but I don't
Yep.
think Georgia Tech was out of this by any means. I think, if anything, and this, obviously, Kalani Sitake was targeted by Penn State, and that's a whole sideshow for them. But, like, to be Georgia Tech with, no no OC or a
Hmm.
temporary OC. That's kind of a similar, if not more significant, a piece there. So
Yep.
I don't know. It's maybe I just got a little numb after Pitt went the way it did. I would say that that wouldn't surprise me just kind of looking at myself. But then again, clean old-fashioned hate. People who were there seem to feel a lot different about that game than I do.
I
And
mean, when
this
you're,
this
yep,
game I would put in the same boat. So I don't know. I think that speaks to the mind share maybe that this tech team has gotten from our fan base, probably
yep.
in a good way, you might say. But I
No,
don't know, Jack. It's interesting. There's a lot that we don't know now, right? It's kind
right.
of like maybe detaching or saying, hey, this was going to be the end of it. Period. Is because it's just you don't know what comes next, and I would argue that there's a lot that we don't know that's coming down the
Yeah.
pipe for the
We don't
Saints, right?
know who the offensive coordinator is going to be. We don't know who the quarterback's going to be. We don't know who some of our wide receivers are going to be. We don't know. We kind of have
Mhm.
an idea who our running back's going to be because they got the freshman that they're holding that didn't play this year. The team loves. We got a
Yep.
lot of offensive coaches that are just gone because they all went to Florida or somewhere else. We lost Aaron Joe this year to North Texas, or after the season. Well, plenty of defensive guys are going out. I mean, Kelly Quinlan on his YouTube show has mentioned
I thought
multiple
you were about to say
times.
we lost Kelly Quinlan too.
No, no, no. He no.
I
He's
was like, did Kelly enter the
Kelly is
transfer
Kelly
portal?
is
Oh
coming
no.
back. Kelly is coming back for year 17. But he's mentioned like the a lot of the portal targets going to be on defense when the portal opens in a couple days here. So yeah, this is going to be a very different team next year. We had a lot of seniors going on, but so I mean I'll jump ahead a little bit. I'll just this reflections of the season that just general thoughts about it is like yeah, absolutely shot ourselves in the foot. We showed that it. I don't. I think I need some time to figure out just like was this team good enough and didn't live up to their potential, or did they just overshoot the ceiling a little bit here this year? Because right now I think that I think it maybe falls somewhere in between for this team that finishes with 9 wins. There were 10 wins available. Absolutely, you should have. I mean, you should have beat and should you beat NC State? Yeah, uh, that's a defensive catastrophe unlike any we've seen all year. Pitt, you really almost you gave yourselves a real fighting shot against Pitt. There's ways where that game can go our way that just didn't because King messes up. This game, especially, there is just mistake after mistake after mistake that cost you points. Like we didn't score at all in the second half. Like and there are just points left out there across the board to the point where King said, and this is what killed me the most at the end. I think is why I feel this way. Is King's like, yeah, I know I left. To paraphrase, like he knows he left a good career here, but he knows he left a lot on the table. Um,
Yeah.
and
And
that
and
and that's the painful part of this season. It's like you get to 8-0, you finish 1-4, and you know you could have done more in those, and you knew it was gonna be a tough down the stretch. Like we knew that. Like that wasn't we weren't oblivious to the fact that was like, oh, we got 8-0, now we'll go 12-0. Like we knew that wasn't gonna be likely. No one thought that was gonna be likely. But it's just the like, damn, they were so close to a real high here that they had ways to get to. That's what the frustrating part is. There were avenues to get there, and they didn't.
and and Jack, I think kind of zooming out even a little bit more to my comment about the, chapter one of the Brent Key era is
Mhm.
we got that question last week that's been grinding my gears. I'm sure I
Ooh,
texted you about this after, like what Brent Key would have done with like the 2021
yeah,
team. Is that the gist?
yeah, yeah,
And we're like, oh, he would have beat NIU. And I was thinking about it afterwards. I was like, but in his first full year, his team lost to Bowling Green, right? That's
yep,
a comparable MAC opponent. And like when I think about the Haynes King era, maybe, or chapter one, right? If
mhm.
the prequel is that previous year, toss that out a little bit. Um, like they lost to Bowling Green at home, and then the next week was the Miami game. The next week, Jack.
Yeah, yeah,
Like this team started 9-0 and finished 1-4. But if you'd have told me before the season, like, hey, you're gonna go to a bowl game, what's your 13 game record? 9-4 is probably what I would have said.
right,
Like,
yeah. We
just
do,
kind of
yeah,
all the chips on the table. It's a high for a team that is so like, you know, d disciplined or
Hmm.
ostensibly disciplined, and
Yep.
we're going to be about the basics, and we're going to hit them hard and run the ball, and all that good stuff.
Hmm.
Like you got the Bowling Green Miami thing, obviously, but that's 2 years ago. Let's take a more recent example. I think you can put it as Wake Forest, Colorado wins that
Hmm.
feel real weird, and
Yep.
NC State, Pitt, all four losses really like are
Yep.
are in the like
None of
you
those.
could
Yeah.
you
None of
could
these.
talk those out and it go differently. Like
Yep.
and I think the weirdest part, at least to me, and I'm not trying to sound conspiratorial about this at all, but it is kind of worth noting that like the last two games, Georgia Tech only scored 30 points. That's pretty unusual for
Yep.
the high highs we'd seen from this team earlier. Obviously, both teams that Tech played down the stretch are certainly the two best teams that they played all year. I don't
Yep.
think that's I don't think
Absolutely.
that's by
Absolutely.
any
Yep.
stretch of the bean, that's a stretch of the imagination, a tough thing to say, but like I don't know, like
Yep.
it's
Yeah. Against Georgia, like
yeah,
it's 9 points. But it doesn't feel like there was much else we could have gotten. King throws the one pick when we're kind of driving well, and that's
yeah,
it. Um, or six, sorry,
a
6 points.
lot
And then in this game,
more stuff left undone in this game. It felt
this
like.
one, yeah, there's 3 drives you go empty on that's there where there should have been points, and yeah, that will cost you a game. That will cost you a game against a team as good as BYU, who may I remind everybody was without their running back, who was the Big 12 Player of the Year. Like
Yeah.
they were without the best player in the entire Big 12 in this game, and they're of course because the backup running backs are absolute kryptonite. That guy still scored like 2 touchdowns. Um,
I was going to say,
so
Jack, I think that might have
uh,
been an upgrade based on the
uh,
NC State game standpoint
yeah,
there.
yeah, 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 um, yeah, yeah. I think you're right. So I mean, I remember zooming out that we said this year we're like 8 wins feels about right in terms of there's a lot of wins on the table that we know we can get. We got a lot of those wins. You can kind of count 2 games being kind of stupid ACC games. Those happened. You can count on one game being like, well, we'll win games we shouldn't win. Clemson, Wake Forest, um, and then
And
who the hell knows what happens with Georgia and BYU? You just kind of be like, you never know. You'll play Georgia close. We play Georgia close. Georgia may have also been just trying to leave the field as soon as humanly possible, and did not do run the score thing. We had nothing on offense to beat their defense. And then yeah, here at BYU, I mean it's bowl game. It can be weird, but I mean, for all intents and purposes, like it didn't feel like a weird game of just like what the hell is going on. It just felt like a no, this is just a tight football game of teams really going at it, and teams are just making silly mistakes. Like it wasn't. It didn't feel like the chaos of like a really like remember that like 6 overtime game last year and that Pitt played in last year in the bowl
oh,
season.
the Quick Lane Bowl,
Yeah, when they were in the
whatever it's
quick.
called, Game Above Sports Bowl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like it wasn't like that kind of game where it just entered a realm of absolute stupidity that can only be found in bowl season. This was real football. Like this felt real the entire time. And I mean there was 30,000 people there. Like it was drew a real crowd and BYU's crowd showed up too. I mean I add like there was a lot of them there. Our people showed up as well too. So yeah, I think overall like you can't I feel positive overall in terms of how the season went. I'll put some numbers behind this. In King's 38 games as a jacket, he's the all-time program leader in total completions at 674. He's the all-time leader in completion percentage at 67.6%, and he's the leader in single season total yards at 3,920. He is the second player with 10,000 plus total career yards. He finished 420 yards behind Joe Hamilton's career mark. So Joe Ham and King are the only ones with 10,000 career yards. If he's healthy for 1 or 2 more games, he probably beats it. He could beat it in
Yeah.
one game. So like that's the. I mean, we are talking about for all intents and purposes the most productive player per game in Georgia Tech history in Haynes King offensively. That is the period that we just finished up on. Malik Rutherford, I'll note also he passed Calvin Johnson for career completions. He's now second all time in school history with 178. Random note: this was our first loss to a Big 12 team since 2010, where we lost to K State. Uh, been a while since that
Uh,
happened.
mm, mm,
That
so that does not count us losing to BYU since then,
no, because they
right?
were not in the Big 12 back then.
I know. I just
Yeah, no, they do no, they do not, they do not, they do not like no, like our, yeah, that's not how that works. Uh, so I mean, overall, like, I know this, like, it's really painful. I think to speak for everyone, this has been painful, a painful, painful way to end the season. Um, Knowing the promise of what could have been. Do we regress to the mean? Yeah, we regress to the mean. Ball. Do we just shot ourselves in the foot too many times? And I think you mentioned like the little things that we were good at. That's the one part going into next year that worries me just a little bit. Is these little things such as take a timeout after you fumble a football with under 2 minutes to go. If someone's got now, granted, we couldn't change centers because Tallow, the other guy that we had, went in the transfer portal, so we only had Harrison Moore to play center. So it's not like we could just sub him out. So that was a product of transfer portal screwiness that forced us to keep him in the game. To like, but like illegal touching and just other penalty, like just little things like that. Just and King overthrowing Jordan Allen and then overthrowing Dean Patterson as well in the end zone on 3rd and 10 to win the game. Like that, like Dean Patterson had the ball in his hands and threw it a touch too high to make it a comfortable catch for him. Like just little things like that. It's like, man, you know, there's something not fully there with the little things still. And part of that's going to be talent. Part of that's coaching as well. And that's what makes next year really, I'm not going to say worrying, but just like you have a lot of questions. As you mentioned, it's like, we don't know a lot about this team for next year. We know who we're playing. We've got that down. We got the schedule. We know who our opponents are. How we're going to look in those games and how we're going to look against Colorado on Labor Day weekend. Lord help us. I have no clue.
I don't know what to tell you about that. I don't know what to think, but I remain, and this is going to sound maybe a little weird considering accolades for the offensive side of the ball, but like based on these last 3 games, 2 games, I'm just kind of intrigued about this whole, we get to kind of do something a little fresh without it having to, be a bottoming out situation.
Yeah.
I don't know if that
No, I
tracks for
think,
you, but
no, I totally agree. Yes.
I don't know if encourages is the right word, but like, Graham Knowles has a good pedigree.
Right.
I'm sure Georgia Tech will try and find that. And again, I'm not an insider. I just talking to this mic with you for fun. But like it, Graham Knowles, I think is good. He's got a good pedigree. I think
Yep.
Georgia Tech will likely go out to find some sort of veteran portal presence, at least just to, in the same way you get a an old guy to show the young guy how to hold a clipboard or something like that
Maybe. Yeah.
in the
Who knows?
pros, right? Or just somebody who's been around the block. But at this point, Knowles has been in the building for a little bit too. So
Yep.
there's that. I think there's a lot of raw talent to like. I think there's potential, and we can talk
Well,
schedules,
I
but
mean,
while way far away from that. But
like,
all that being said, Jack, I don't want to sound like I threw the baby out with the bathwater after Pitt because I didn't like
we
fully
were
do
we
that,
were
but
mathematically alive
we
still in the
were
final week of the year.
it was one of those things where like you got 2 games to do something interesting. It's a bummer that they did arguably neither interesting thing that they could inarguably they didn't win either game,
No, they
but
didn't win.
like
No,
it's
no.
like it was a fine year. It's the best start in 66 years. I think it shows an arrow pointed in some regards in the upward direction.
Oh, very much in the upward direction. Yeah,
But
yeah.
we are, this team was not a playoff team at 8-0. I
No,
know that,
no,
number 7 rank wise or number 8 what rank wise, sure. Ostensibly, yes, but no.
no. They
They,
were not. They were only a playoff team because of the level of teams they played. Like we knew that going into the years. Like we got the schedule that if you could take advantage of it in enough ways, you were sitting in a very interesting position in terms of the national landscape. Everyone knew. Like that was every national writer was like, oh. Well, this is interesting. They don't play anybody until Georgia if they beat Clemson.
yep.
And Pitt ended up being half all right. Now, I must say, Pitt lost to East Carolina in their bowl game. That is frustrating as hell. Um,
Hmm.
but no. I mean, I would say the arrow was pointing at the moment Brent got here because remember the first portal season that Brent Key had to deal with, he got Haynes King. Like they've been better at this than not. You get Eric Rivers out of the portal, who ended up having more yards than Eric Singleton this year. Like better than not. Um,
I feel very much the same way about Eric Singleton and that result. Kind of wish him the best. Say la
yeah,
vie. What
yeah.
what can you do? As I did about oh my gosh, Nate McCollum and really really fast guy, Amarion Brown, right?
Yeah.
Like you can only do so much. I
Right.
think they've shown the management side of things, like, player personnel is about as good as you can with the resources we got here. So,
Yeah.
you know,
And let's keep
that's
in
where I'm
mind,
kind of,
like,
that's why it brings me around to being excited about
right.
maybe some potential
And
offensive or position coach changes, right?
right. We haven't hired an offensive coordinator yet. We're, as I saw on Twitter, I forgot who posted it. My apologies, but we're at day 25 of not having an offensive coordinator still. I'll note the players were excited to have Chris Wenke as an offensive coordinator for that one game because like the game plan didn't change for them. It was plug and play for them. So like I'm not maybe on that fourth on the last set of downs, you change the play calling there a little bit, and Chris does something different. I don't know, but like for all intents and purposes, impressed with Chris's one game showing. But yeah, overall, like, yeah, we are our war chest is also as big as it's ever been going into an offseason in terms of money available to us, committed dollars to spend on coaching and players and things like that. Like this is absolutely should be more of a retooling than a rebuilding, as we've said for the volleyball, especially for the volleyball program in the past. It's like, okay, you lose your outside hitters, who comes in and fills in and does well. Uh, we have hit that point. You win the games that we've won that we've won the last 2 years and put ourselves in the position that we have the last 2 years. It makes us more attractive. We are in the hunt for more talented guys than we have been in a long time. And just general across the board because like we're not running a weird ass offense. Like we can run a normal. We don't have to specialize for the triple option anymore. This is the first time since Paul, I would say that like there is actual evidence to support that you can come to Georgia Tech and advance your career in a football sense. Of course, also in an academic sense. The team had its highest GPA literally ever this semester.
Same with men's basketball, I saw
Yeah,
too. Good for
right.
them.
So like we're winning in like in terms of the whole Georgia Tech experience, we're showing it works from top to bottom right now. So like, there's no reason we are not an attractive candidate for a lot of players. Not every person has Georgia Tech as their number one. Georgia Tech doesn't make sense for a lot of people, but it makes sense for more people, I think, than people were considering in the past. Okay, is there any more football you want to talk about before I get into just the rest of the Pop Tarts experience? Because there's some fun non-football items here that I think people are going to enjoy.
Go for it. Let's talk Pop
All
Tarts.
right, let's talk Pop Tarts. So I leave Friday morning um, because I wanted to be at Camping World Stadium at noon for a Pop Tarts dish tasting event where they had specialty menu items that they served in the stadium, and they had a one-off tasting event for the media. And let me tell you, this thing was the coolest thing. One of the cooler things I've ever like. I knew exactly where I needed to be at 12 noon. The mayor of Orlando was there. Other people from the bowl were there. They had the trophy on site, so you could like look at the thing and see. And like I saw, and here's the most important. I saw the most important piece of machinery in the entire stadium. In that they had it like in a little club. It's not the scoreboard. It's whatever. It's not the PA system. It was the battery pack that powers the toaster inside the trophy. That was the most important piece of machinery that I saw. Now, arguably, the toaster is more inside the trophy is more important, but it was like, okay, this is just a funny little thing. But they had a bunch of dishes. They had like a vanilla pudding thing where they stuck a Pop Tart in there. They had deep fried Pop Tarts. I didn't have any of those because that was my first meal of the day, and I didn't want to absolutely kill myself that early.
Yeah.
But they had like a basically what they called it a nacho, but they had a s'mores pop, like a crumbled up s'mores or chopped up s'mores Pop Tart with a chocolate glaze, some chocolate chips, but then like an actual like one of those like a tortilla chip, not a corn chip, but like a chip of sorts underneath, and they warmed it. So technically, it was like a nacho that was chocolate sauce and marshmallow based, and it actually tasted amazing. Like I would not, like the chip acted just more as like a platform for the flavors to come out and do their thing, which was really cool. Um, they had other kind of mix and matches of like various sauces and things like that. Uh, it was all really cool. They had the two helmets and Pop Tart with sprinkles on them that were really cool. Uh, and so that was just a super fun little thing to go to. Friday night, the as I mentioned before, they had the big radio show. They do all that. That was super fun. Um, the merch. I mean, let me tell you, people were buying merch like crazy. The quarter zips flew off the shelves. If you want, you can buy a quarters. They're restocking the quarter zips now for $35 more than we could buy them on site in Orlando. It looks awesome as hell. The problem is though, as I didn't buy any merch because Jake, everything was shaded royal blue, which they had decided before
Mm.
they realized BYU was playing in this game. So like the base Pop Tart Bowl jersey that just has the Pop Tart logo and a number 25 was royal blue. when I saw the merch stand in the hotel when I first got there, I thought they were only selling BYU merch, and I was looking for the Georgia Tech version, but that's just what the jersey looked like. So I don't think many people at our hotel bought that because it was the wrong color. Nonetheless, their fan fest thing was also really good. Like they had like they use there's a field next to Camping World Stadium where they just set up a really big fan fest thing. I mean, you think about this little festival. They had a place where they had hospitality. The Alumni Association where I was working had our own tailgate going on. And we had, I think, about 400 people show up to that, uh,
Nice.
which was real. I mean, it was a really good crowd. I mean, it's kind of as much as we get at a home game, anyways. When we have our thing there. So that was really good. The Pop Tart mask, like, and during the game, so I go in the stadium. We have Pop Tarts as much as we want in the press box. That they literally have three toasters set up. You just pop them in. They got multiple flavors. They got a bunch of flavors. You just go in whatever you want. Um, and when I'm watching the game, like I'm watching the football, like I'm keeping notes, I get for the recap and whatnot. But I am watching the sidelines intently because I have no idea what's about to happen with these Pop Tart mascots. They have chaos everywhere. One of them sat in the wreck at one point. At one point, one was grilling Pop Tarts, like was just secretly grilling Pop Tarts. One was stealing phones all the time. I know the Sickos committee were down there during video, and they just lost their phone at one point to one of the Pop Tarts. At one point, they did a weightlifting competition down there. That the protein Pop Tart, of course, won because it was the protein Pop Tart that they made intentionally ripped. Uh, they were just they. I love how they are just agents of mass chaos. I had this new idea, and you can tell me if this sounds stupid or not. There should be one game a week throughout the season that's just designated the Pop Tarts game of the week
Mm.
where they just it doesn't have to be a high level game, but just a way to be like, hey, here's our branding, here's our experience, because it is kind of a unique game day experience. Like it is one of a kind. It's a very particular vibe in that place. Like it is unlike any other college football game I've been to in terms of like what people are looking forward to in terms of the total football, but the total pop tartsiness of it all. I think it'd be hilarious if they just bring a couple of mascots and let them do their chaos at a game, and it just gives something more for the fans to look forward to. It's good for kids, good for stuff like that. I mean, you do it at like I don't know, Utah State at Fresno State. Like you don't do it at a high level game, but then it's just like, oh no, where are they going to be next week? And I don't know. That could be fun. It could not be. I don't know. I thought it was a cool idea.
I I just worry that it would like make people get real tired of it, if that makes sense. I don't know. I think
Well,
it's fun for a day. I think the question of if a protein Pop Tart can choose to live, does that make all the other Pop Tarts aware
well,
of their sacrifice to the giant toaster? That stuff is fun. Don't get
yeah,
me wrong. I would
and
just
that's
hate for it to be like, ugh, grating. Because like at the end of the day, it is an advertisement. Like
yeah. Oh, it
I don't
absolutely is.
know.
No,
Like
no. Last year's game, they sold I think 22 million Pop Tarts the day after the game or something like that. Like, yeah, This is absolutely a marketing stunt. Do not get me wrong. I know exactly what's happening here. I am not unaware of the fact that this is them very intentionally trying to get everyone to buy more Pop Tarts. And I will say it worked because I know a lot of people, including me, bought Pop Tarts after we got the bowl game. Um, that was the case. But it just in terms of and then at halftime, they over the intercom of the press box they say, for those of you in the media, we have ice cream sandwiches ready for you in the lobby area. We're like, huh, what? We walk over and sure enough they have chilled strawberry Pop Tarts and slapped a dollop of vanilla ice cream in the middle. And for like 5 minutes I'm standing there eating this really, like, I kid you not, this is one of the best food items I have ever had in a press box anywhere, and that's from Tech has really good food. Clemson had really good food. Georgia had really good food. This was up there with the best of the best. And I'm standing there with Rowdy Jones and Mark Jones and Al Seraldo and a couple other people just chomping away at these Pop Tart ice cream sandwiches. I'm like, is this what I'm doing right now with my life? Could it get any better? I was so it was so enthralled to just have this weird moment of eating this one of a kind thing that you would never eat in normal life at this one of a kind bowl that you have to get really lucky to get into with at the right. It is just amazing. Uh, and so
seems a lot more fun than the Birmingham Bowl.
oh my God, let me tell you, the Birmingham Bowl was today at 2 o'clock on a Monday between Georgia Southern and App State. There was a lot fewer people there today than there were at our game last year. That's for sure. Um, but I mean, I say all this. The Pop Tarts Bowl truly has revolutionized what a bowl game can be. Like in this current version, where if you're not in the playoff, it's like what's there to play for? You got to make it fun. Like that's one of your only options is you got to make it fun for everyone to want to show up. to make it fun for the players. Of course, being in Orlando helps out a lot because like they went to a theme park or something like that versus if they were in the Fenway Bowl and they're like, well, you're in Boston and it's cold, so that helps
I,
out a lot. Um,
I think they went to the Fun Spot America, Jack. So
they did
maybe.
both. They did both. They did both. They
Oh,
did
okay,
both.
good, good.
Yeah,
I
they
was
did
like,
both. Yeah, yeah. Oh,
they
yeah.
can
I
they can spring for Epic Universe or something.
they did that.
It's right there.
I drove by Fun Spot. I'm like, huh, they really did them dirty if they only went there. But no, they did have a moment at Universal. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's a masterclass in marketing. Like they touch the Pop Tarts Bowl has figured out how to touch so many different pieces of what can be touched in a football game versus the literal field design, the advertisements. They did a really cool video with Tech released of like of them analyzing how to make the best Pop Tart flavor, what has the most flavor, whatever. Like they did spoofs like that. Like they have figured out and they made it fun. They make it fun on social media. They know how to engage people, and it's just
But
it's so cool. It's so cool, man.
they have one thing in their brand that your average brand does not, and that is an inherent level of absurdity and or humor.
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
I think that's why it works for Cheez-Its. I think if you're, if you're Duke's mayo, you kind of lean in with the mayo dump. I
Right.
thought the Bush's bowl of beans,
Yes.
that was
Great.
fun
Great.
enough. Yeah,
Yes.
just get somebody talking about it. Do something interesting,
Right.
doing something different. But like I'm sure the good old sponsors of, you know, the Independence Bowl being a very random technology company and all these other things, like the best bowls are something that you or I can
Relate
interact
to.
with or relate
Yes.
to.
Yes.
And you might think, and I'm going to put Xbox over in the no, just simply because it's in a NFL practice facility. Like
Also,
there, like
that game came about in 2 weeks. Like that wasn't there had no
yeah.
time to figure that out.
And my point there being it's a combination of location, it's a
Hmm.
combination of marketing and in-game and around the game programming, and
Right.
it's a combination of the leaning into the sport and the
Hmm.
brand and the fun side of what you're doing. At the end of the day, Jack, it's an exhibition. Like,
I
I
mean,
don't know. Are they going to raise a banner for like Pop-Tarts Bowl runner-up? That would be kind of
well,
Pop-Tarts Bowl-ish, but
it
like,
really would be. It
like
really would be if we got like a broken toaster or something.
if
Like
that's the one they actually gave
we should get a
like a
broken
banner
toaster
to. Yeah.
as our. No, I mean, well, I mean, in terms of
Yeah.
the exhibition game, like yes, it is. When I saw Haynes after the game, it's like, oh god, they were not treating it like an exhibition game. And Brent got asked again about like, hey, asked about like the hey Notre Dame backed out and like, what do you think about that? He's like, man, we only get 12 guaranteed games a year. You tell me we get to play football
Yeah.
today? We're gonna go play football today. Like they take a very different. This team has taken a very different attitude towards how they approach just the opportunity to play. Which I know is like, yes, you're guaranteed to play football and all that kind of stuff. But they are
And,
like, they take each like they did not for what I can tell, they in no way did they back off in terms of the intensity of how they played. Now, yes, there's roster management decisions that
and
probably happened in there,
and
but
those things can live in tension, right? Or not in tension. They can live in harmony, right?
yeah,
Like you get to play football and it's a competitive, fun game and it can stink to lose and it can be like all those things are not mutually exclusive. And
right, yeah,
I think that
that's part of what makes it
has
great. That's what
been
part of what makes it
I,
great. Yeah.
yeah, like we'd be about a million more times crushed, I think both of us, if this was like the second round of the playoff
Oh,
and
absolutely.
you
Yeah.
go to
If it's the
lose.
playoff, we're like, damn, like what could have been. In this case, it's like what could have been is we
Or the
have
ACC championship game,
right.
or
Yeah.
even clean old fashioned hate, right? Like
Right.
I don't
Technically,
know.
the only thing we lost here was a machine that we can build ourselves.
And the second digit in our win column.
That well, now that is a record book thing that will literally never die. So that part does sting a lot,
Yeah.
knowing what could have been. So all in all, I mean, I guess my final takeaways here is like I would go to this game even if Tech's not there. Like that's how fun of an experience it is just to be at this game and do the whole thing. I know I'm
I
partially
know
blind.
people who did that.
Right. Now, also was I lucky in that that I got a very nice version of this, knowing I got lucky with the employer and everything like that. Yes, I mean if I went on my own dime and things like that, it'd be a little different, of course. But um, nonetheless, like it's a great time if you can merge it. And they had the Citrus Bowl there on New Year's Day, so like obviously it's not the same. But if you can find your way down to this bowl game, it's absolutely worth the time. And I mean, they get good teams. Like it's a ranked on ranked matchup. That's what they're doing every year. So this I and and there's like lore and like there's real lore to this game because like now today was like, oh, what's the protein pop tart doing after he didn't go in the toaster, and what's his deal, where's he gonna be? And like they did a fake press conference, like they are taking the concept of a bowl game so much further than any bowl game has gone. So it's just, as a guy that likes innovation and whose concentration has in at the Scheller College of Business literally has the word innovation in it. uh it's just been it's been so fun to watch this happen and just to be part of it for a couple of days. So uh yeah, that's where I'm at. What a cool experience. I hate that we lost, but overall I feel like a winner, all things considered.
So, so around the ACC, did you happen to watch the preseason national championship game?
I did not. That was we were very much in tailgate mode during the Clemson Penn State game, but I did catch after the game after we were I was eating dinner at night. There was a TV on the screen that's like number preseason number 2 versus preseason number 4, and then it was like, oh right, that was Clemson and Penn State.
Yes, the field was very brown. There were lots of drops. You didn't miss much.
Great,
It
great.
was a very Dabo game in which you're like, why did they do that? And then they like did more stuff where they were like, that's because that's kind of what they've been doing lately, you know?
Yep, yep, that
But
makes sense. I do applaud them.
yeah,
They dumped, of course, a bale of grass on their head coach for winning the Bad Boy Mowers Bowl. I think that was more Pop Tarts influence there. It's like, yeah, lean into it, do
a
that.
Bush's bowl of beans,
Bowl of
Cardinals,
beads. Yes,
whatnot.
yes, absolutely.
UVA, they won a bowl of Gators, right? Yeah,
Well,
I don't know.
that one's just classic football at this point. Now, I do appreciate that Tax Slayer did have a
A
calculator
night.
mascot. They had a calculator mascot roaming the field. Um,
Oh wow.
that was, yeah. They literally had like a full fledged. It wasn't a working calculator, but it was someone. It was a calculator mascot. So that was, getting to some of the bit a little bit
I
there. So
thought they had a night guy, the Tax Slayer.
maybe that's, I
Anyways.
don't know. I didn't check that hard. I did riff when the press box like, hey, if we leave in the second half, we can make the Gator Bowl still because it's just in Jacksonville. Could have driven fast enough. Um, on UVA though, first 11 win season ever. I mean, big deal for them. I mean, I know they had bigger aspirations than we did come the end of the year, just knowing that they should have been in the college football playoff and weren't. Um, so do I hate that for them? I don't know. I kind of like James Madison getting in because I like the younger teams getting in there, but nonetheless. All right, that was a lot of football. We went for a while there. Shall we do a short little break here?
Yes, I'm going to shout out one particular piece of merch that caught my eye on section103.com, the official purveyor of this fine podcast. Jack, did you know that the University of South Florida used to be the University of South Florida Golden Brahmins?
Brahmins. No.
Yes. I saw that on a design in the background as it was just flipping through over here on the right side of my screen. Where they are. Yes. Stephen and the gang have green print on gray. I assume that Brahmin is another uh, bull related term because they still got the bull on there. I really need to lean back into my world history to remember my uh, where that word comes from, etymology, if you will. But yeah, that's different. That's fun. That's retro. I learned something from this from prepping for this ad. So, hopefully this is not news to you that it's free shipping on orders over $100 at 10% off with code FTRS. But yes, so much retro that you're learning things. I think last week I saw for Clemson, they had a shirt referencing, oh, I'm gonna pull it up now because I don't want to get this wrong. Oh yeah, Clemson House. And I was like, ooh, I've been to Clemson a bunch. What's Clemson House? Apparently, hotel, also dorm at some point. I think that had some nice neon or script orange lettering on the top. So yes, that is now knocked down, but the shirt lives on. I guess Junior's Grill probably falls in that boat too.
Yep.
um, a place that is gone, but dearly not forgotten. So go check it out over at section103.com. Jack, what else we got? I'm uh, I'm sitting on a piece of trivia. I didn't know if we were going to
Oh,
go right into basketball.
well,
Um,
hey, I kind of previewed what happened with basketball at the top of the show, so yes, please give me this trivia.
uh, it's very straightforward trivia. Jack, do you know the men's basketball record off the top of your head?
Well, I'm kind of looking at it on our shot sheet, so that I did update it.
Well, it's 9-4.
Yes.
So my piece of trivia is I couldn't tell you the last time this has happened, but I'm sure that answer is close to never. So I'm
Oh,
making it up as I go.
oh
I
my.
think this is the first time ever that football and men's basketball have had the same record.
Simultaneous 9-4 records. Interesting. Ooh,
I'm
okay.
gonna check it, but like
We have a way to do
the
this.
odds of
Yes.
that are very, very, very tiny. So my trivia is it's at least been 10 years since that's happened because I know
That's
off the
true.
top of my
We
head
know that.
it's
We
not
know
happened
that.
while I've been here.
Yep.
So that's my trivia, pending some more corrections. I literally put this together while I was reading this ad. So there you go.
Amazing.
Staring at your computer sometimes tells you things about numbers. So Jack, men's basketball, there's just the one game.
Yep.
It was a drubbing, 89-65. I believe
Yes.
that is
Yes.
Tech's largest margin of victory this year. Yes, just scrolling through it, it is. Jack, is this team coming into form, or did they play like one of the worst teams in the country,
Um,
or both?
Here's the deal. So remember how we played Maryland Eastern Shore to start the year, who was 344th in Ken Palm right now, and we barely won. Florida
Hmm.
A&M is 343rd in Ken Palm, and we beat them much more soundly. So I will say we are coming into form in the sense that we are beating the teams that are in the worst of the worst in college basketball as soundly as we were supposed to be. And that's the best I've got for them right now because the schedule was so decrepitly light uh, to start the year that I truly have no gauge on if they're any good or not. At least we know that this was with Bynadongo and Jaden Mustaf, who were back in the rotation together after being hurt for a while. Bai had 15 points. It's a very evenly spread scoring game. The team shot 60 or 61% in both halves. So that was nice in terms of just efficiency. But again, this is the 343rd best team per the Ken Palm rankings, which is as close to gospel as we can get in terms of top to bottom in all of D1. So I I'm not saying this is any good. We actually are down in Ken Palm 2 spots. We are up in Torvik by 7 spots to 146th. So I mean we are not in terms of are we good? No, we cannot say that in the slightest.
J- Jack, we have lost to every team in Massey, which I like Massey because
Yeah.
he ranks all the sports. Every team 131st or better in the country that we have played, we have lost to.
Well, there you go. That makes it.
Yeah.
That's how you know. And we have today's December 29th. I'll put this out later tonight, so most of you are going to listen to this on the 30th or 31st. And guess who we play on the 31st at 4 o'clock in Cameron Indoor Arena?
Do I have to guess?
No, it's Duke. It's Duke. It's Duke. So we will see what Mr. Shire has for us and what Mr. Sademeyer can figure out. I mean, I'll just note like Lamar Washington's look good. Like they in terms of the people we have had available to play against us, they have gotten better as the season's gone on. And of these games at home we should be winning, they're winning them. They're 9-1 at home right now, so like they're doing in terms of taking care of business. They're not failing in that department, but it's just hard to gauge like what business means until we get to these ACC games. So that's where we're at with them. So yeah, December 31st at 4 p.m. Is when that game is, and so you can watch that before you watch the college football playoff or before you watch Stranger Things if you're into that kind of thing like I am. After that, we've got Boston College, Syracuse, and Miami. So we'll see where that goes. That'll be actually Boston College is actually our first real test. I say real because that's the team that is closest to us in Ken Palm in Power Five, or Power Four. So if that goes poorly, that's a pretty good indicator of where the season's going to go. If we win that game at
Yeah,
home, that's at least an indicator of like, okay, we're not the worst in the ACC, and so far we don't know if we are or are not. That's
I
that's my
was
hunch.
I was sucked down Massey's website because there's always these new pieces of the site that I find every time I go over there. Jack, Georgia Tech has beaten Duke exactly 5 times since
I was
you
there
or
for one of
I
those. I was
were
there for
born.
one of those. It was a
Yeah,
good
me
game.
too.
It was a fun game.
The 4 point win in 20 no the 4 point win in 2021
Yes.
in the Jose Alvarado
No.
this might be the year.
No, 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 no,
Okay.
no, 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 no. The one 2023 that when Damon was
Oh
here.
wait, I was there for that too, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. So I've seen us beat them twice. There we go. Um, I guess that means we won't be due for like another 5 years. Um,
Uh, I mean, hey, I
the
will note. I think I should note. Like we were like winning in the AC. Like, remember that game in the ACC tournament when we were like kind of had them on their heels with Cooper Flag
Yeah,
for like a while in that game. Like it took once Duke started
yep.
figuring out how to shoot 3 pointers, the game was over. But like we had their number for a hot second. We usually
And the
play
game
Duke pretty
over
well.
MLK weekend in 2024 too. That was on the road, I believe, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah, they didn't come here. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say the Massey implied margin is 19. So
Oh
gonna have to play pretty well to
well,
keep that in.
hey, a 24-point win over FAMU is all you can ask for in terms of doing the thing you need to see going into a game like this. So that's where they're at, 9-4. We'll see. We'll see how this goes on the 31st. For the women, they only had one game since we last talked. That was against Wofford. They won 79-63. Very uncomplicated here. That was their fifth win of the season. They similarly to the men's team start their season on this week against a very very high level ACC team. They play Notre Dame at 4 o'clock on New Year's Day. Uh, that will be if we win that. If we even hold a candle to Notre Dame, I'll be shocked. That's put it plainly. I'll just put it plainly. That's
Massey
what.
likes their odds better than the boys up at
Well, that's good.
up at Duke. It's like a 21% win probability for
Okay.
women's basketball. It was like 6 for the
All
men.
right.
So
Okay. Not bad.
a go figure. But 5-9, it's been tough sled for the ladies.
Yep. Yep. So we'll leave it there with them. On the volleyball team, they got a commit today. Giovanna Rocha. She's from Rio de Janeiro, outside hitter. Um, Looks like we've lost some people into the transfer portal. Like I know Bogrid's not going to be back. DeAndre Pierce not going to be back. Pierce run out of years. Bogrid's graduating. Looks like we're not going to have.
Uh, Mimi
Yep.
Mambu to Purdue, I'm
Mimi
hearing,
Mimi,
right?
Mimi Mambu looks to be out this year as well, which she was our highest volume attacker in terms of just raw attempts this year. Now, when this news came out, I'll say Jake and I were not we were not upset. Mabu had some great moments this year. I was really excited to see her because she was really highly rated and everything. But it seems like it just seems like a lot of moments just didn't come together for her, and she had to get subbed out in a number of matches, which it sucks. Yes, she's a freshman, she's 18, a little wild, a little erratic, but then as the season went on, it became clear that Nomi Despania was just the more reliable option, which is kind of crazy because she was also a little wild and erratic at times too. But it was a very learn about what we have here. There's a lot of new pieces. There were not many options. There was a lot of injuries that kind of forced the team into certain spots. And so this will be a retool, and so we'll see. I think they'll be better next year. But as much as we love Mambu, this is not going to be the team is not going to break over this one. I'll say
I was thinking about it today, Jack. It felt a lot like watching Javi Baez plate appearances,
that's
where
a
it's like,
really good
dang,
that's a really good
can
comparison.
can it
Yes.
hit a home run at any time? Ton of athleticism, but like the strikeouts stack up.
Sometimes you can throw in the other batter's box and and it works. You never know. But so no, Bambu has a really bright. I think she has a pretty bright future ahead of her. She's got a lot of raw natural talent in there, and once she hones it in, she's going to be dangerous. And so if she's going to a team like Purdue, that's still a
Yeah.
good sign. I think teams should. There's no reason teams shouldn't give up on her. But I know Tech has Michelle has a direction they want to go, and so that's the way they're going to go. Uh,
Yep.
that's it in terms of personnel. Transfer portal wise, we'll see. I know I just saw across the line that Clayton Powell declared for the draft. All these guys that are seniors are going to declare for the draft. Whether that means they're actually going to get drafted, y'all can evaluate. I mean, Clayton Powell probably not likely, as much as we love him as well. But so we'll see how that all goes down. It's probably going to be a lot of news once the portal opens and who's staying, who's leaving, who may not be going, who may not be leaving. Remember last year, Malik Rutherford declared and then came back. So you never know when that may happen as well, depending on the guy. So we'll see. It's gonna
So you're
be it's
so
gonna
you're
be a
telling
wilder.
me Aaron Philo's not all the way gone yet?
I mean, mathematically, yes. In terms of the
I'm
raw
kidding.
paper, in terms
I
of the
know,
raw,
Jack. I
yes,
know.
yeah. In terms of the raw paperwork, in theory, that it could still happen, but practically, no. Um, so that's where we're at. We'll be back. We may record next week. We may not record next week. We'll see how the tides flow and whatnot. We are looking. I'll note baseball season's about a month and a half away, so that's the thing this year. I think I got to figure out a plan to lock down on content there, but that is what I think all eyes are on baseball now in terms of what that team can be and what James Ramsey can bring for this 2026 team, man. I mean, I mean, here's an idea. We should sell out like a lot of games at Rush Chandler this year. That's my thought. is that's a thing for the way we showed up for the football team. The baseball team deserves all of that and then some as well because that team, I mean, no carts before horses, but on paper they are very good.
I need to get my like 10 pack or something like that, Jack. It's this is the team.
This really is the team. This really is. They have pitching that has only gotten better over the last 3 years. They had the best reliever in college baseball last year for most of the year at Mason Patel. We have what has been called the best infield in college baseball. And guess who doesn't play in the infield?
Drew Burris,
Drew Burris.
the best player in college baseball.
right, right. Yeah. 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 So it's gonna be man, it's gonna be so fun this year. I cannot wait for the baseball season. So all right, that's it. We've gone on long enough. Take us home.
I think you could put the two of us in front of a mic and just turn it on and say talk for a number and we talk till we hit the number. Thank you everyone for bearing with us this year. Episode 296. Hopefully we will be at about 340 this time next year. Hopefully we'll get about 340 wins. No, I don't think that's possible. Baseball plus
Yeah.
softball plus football. I don't know if there's enough
Ooh,
games for
oh,
that,
should,
but
should we should we do the march for should we do the march for 100 wins between softball and baseball next year?
we can. It might be a little they're get there, but
They're both going to
who's
be
to
pretty
say?
good. They're both going to be pretty good.
We'll start it as the quest for 40.
Oh, okay.
For those that know, the quest for 40, scoring 40 points in a basketball game in the 40 minutes of regulation, it should be easily attainable, I think was the reference I was going for there, Jack.
Yep, yep, yep.
But yes, the Quest for 40 starts in a month. Softball, baseball, men's and women's basketball in the meantime. But until we speak again, remember GameOnPaper.com for your playoff and bowl game football stats related needs. From TheRumbleSeat.com for your Georgia Tech written word. Email us. We want to hear from you. Let us know what you'd like to see this baseball season or on this fine podcast or anywhere else on the site. That's from the rumbleseat at gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter, Blue Sky. FDRS blog is over on Blue Sky. I'm over there as well with Jack. Section 103 is on Instagram at Section 103. You can find them at section103.com as well. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube at From the Rumble Seat. And you can find this podcast wherever fine podcasts are distributed. Remember, tell your friends. That's the best way for them to find out about us. And until we speak again, good night, good luck, and go Jackets. See you in the new year.